Your sites, what are they best suited for?
I'm finding that most of the writers, if they have no experience, they get the blast, and the results, they don't get as many script requests, and then obviously...
What about genre? Any specific genre work better than others?
No, I don't see that. I mean, if you think about what I'm doing, I mean, it's basically cold query letters to producers. So, you know, you do have to be mindful of budget and stuff, and think about who are going to be the people that actually respond to these type of cold query letters. And for the most part, those are not, you know, studios that have access to all the top agents.
Our site basically lets you pick and choose who you want to pitch to, and you're guaranteed a response back. We have about 375 studios, production companies, really big players, you know. We've got like Paradigm, Sony, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So there's also mid-sized production companies and smaller-sized production companies, and that's where Writers Guild members would really probably get a lot of hits, you know, because you don't always want to, you know, sometimes, you know, you're showing it to an executive at a big studio, and if you haven't had a hit movie in a couple of years, they don't want to read your script. We're guaranteeing the access.
Right.
So you're pitching your script. You're sending a little query letter saying, "Hey, this is this is a script about David coming to the Writers Guild, meeting a lot of nice people. Would you like to read it?" You know, they get an automatic email.
And for Writers Guild members, it's free. So you're a bargain.
For this year, it's
free.
For
this
year, correct.
2014.
Yeah, and they just email me, David@scriptcoach.com, and
sends them some stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Post your script on the site, and then producers log in and they search for scripts, and then they can search by any of hundreds of different ways of finding it, and then they read the pitch, they like it, they read the synopsis, they like it, they read the script, and then they contact the writer directly and make the deal. And from that, in the last 3 years, we've had almost 100 movies made, and about 700 writers who have either gained representation or gotten hired or sold their screenplay or optioned it. But it's about 100 movies made in the last 3 years.
I think it really depends on what you're looking for in terms of how you're going to use the site. You know, if you're a novice writer, I don't recommend that you give us your money. That's simple, because our database and sort of our process is designed to identify writers who can work competitively with the best writers in the industry, and we evaluate on that standard. We provide very high quality, very inexpensive, very fast turnaround feedback on your script. Literally, if it takes longer than 3 weeks, you get a free month of hosting. And a lot of people do use our feedback service as a way to get sort of quick, reliable feedback on how the industry is likely to perceive their scripts, so that they can do a rewrite.
Expand on that.
Yeah, so we have 85 readers, all of whom have had at least a year of experience as paid employees of major reputable Hollywood companies, primarily agencies and management companies, but also production companies and studios, wherein a significant part of their job was reading the material, and they're also familiar with the marketplace as it exists currently. They're able to, upload their scripts, have it evaluated, and if it's evaluated positively, we tell a large number of people in the industry as a trusted source, here's a script that you should pay attention to, and I think that's why we've seen 20,000 unique downloads over the last 19 months. And then for guild members, we also, as part of our partnership with the WGA West and East and Great Britain, you can list your scripts in our database entirely free of charge. You can tag the script with over 1,000 tags. The number of searches that directors, producers, and financiers can do on our site that yield at least one script, that number has 255 digits. So if you're looking for an action movie set in China with a car chase, a love triangle, a female lead between the ages of 19, 20, and 24, and a theme of redemption, you can do that search on our site, and if such a script exists, it'll pop up.
If you're a brilliant writer, you don't need to spend a lot of time marketing. If you're Shakespeare, you don't need to spend a lot of time marketing. But what about all those other people that are not brilliant writers? I mean, there's a place for us. I'm not a great writer, I'm a good writer, but I've sold a lot of scripts, and I've done it through just sheer brute force on the marketing front.
You need to have more than one resource. That's it. You can use IMDb and start sending out query letters. You can send out a blast through Ashley here,
Ashley there.
One through David. But the bottom line is it's not just one source. Now, if you can afford $10 a week, then you could probably use all 4 of our services. But don't just limit it to just one. There's dozens and dozens of different ways that you can market yourself, whether you live here in LA or you live out in Australia, with the resources that you have. You just have to know what they are.
And a lot of this is subjective. So you've got to, and that's where the networking comes into play, because then you're going to meet more people find out who's looking for what, and you might just have something that they like.
Spend time in your logline. People will spend 6 months or a year writing a script, and then they'll bash out a logline in a day. Spend a month on your logline. Make sure that thing is really, really good.
And it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what your racial background is, what your sexual background is, whatever it is. Can you write? If so, we're going to try to do our best to put you in a position where people who can do something with you as a writer can read your work and then continue your career.
The focus for us right now in this really changing marketplace is the studios want to see things that have, that have a director attached to them. So I have to have a piece, before I bring you into the room, I need to know that there's something in that script that I can send to a director and make them pay attention. So for me, it's about the writing.
In this day and age, artists have to be entrepreneurial in any art form, I think. And I think you've got to, again, think about what that agent, think about what that producer, think about what they have to go through and help them, let them see, where this lives in the marketplace, who's going to like this, what makes it unique.
When I look at a script, first of all, I have to fall in love with the story. Secondly, I have to fall in love with the world that story's in, because as a producer, I'm going to be stuck in that world for the next year or so. And thirdly, I have to believe that I can attract, the script's good enough that I can attract a really good director that's going to help attract talent. And fourthly, I have to see roles that I think will attract talent, that are well fleshed out, written, give an actor something to play, have a good character arc to them, and it's going to give them something to hang their hat into.
What people are looking for is the fresh meat. And they're also looking for, they're also looking for somebody who's not a one-trick pony.
When you read a script that you love, and somebody who's not represented or they're hip-pocketed somewhere, and you call someone an agent or a manager, you need to know that that writer is going to be able to take to them 2 or 3 or 4 fresh pieces of material.
What are the type of things that an audience will pay $15 to go and see, plus the babysitter, plus this, plus that, parking, etc.? Or what will they pay $8.99 to download and watch in the comfort of their home, and why? And really know what the message of your film is, and what emotional resonance it's going to kind of have on an audience that's going to make them want to do that. And almost think of how would you sell the trailer for your film in your head?
My instinct is to look for a manager. And I think that managers are actually interested a little bit more in careers. They generally, with a few exceptions, don't have the sort of Damocles hanging over them about whether they made $100,000 in sales this month. And the managers can spend the time with you, and they can have 15 or 20 clients. And I like the solo operation manager. They're actually looking for that writer. They will read. They will take the time to read. If you're a young lit agent at one of the big agencies, yes, you're looking for that rare gem, but mostly you're just trying to service the clients.
Everything leads to something else. There is truth in that. And I think if you had representation and you don't have it anymore, who can you call? Who's that one person that you can call who can read your script, and then who can you go to that you can make a targeted ask? When I was laid off and didn't have a job for a year, I could not call people and say, can you help me? But what I could do was call Amy Pascal and say, will you call this person? And she would say, of course. And she felt great. It was one thing she could do. Then she was done. It was off the list. So she felt efficacious and needed, and I wasn't wasting her time. People are not going to sit down and brainstorm with you, but if you have something great that you've read, even if it's an assistant that reads it, every assistant is waiting to be my assistants would kill themselves to walk in and say, I have a great script that you have to read. And I wouldn't even ask them if it was somebody who was represented. I would know that they had them sign the form, and when they gave it to me, they just thought it was something amazing. And that's where it all starts. So all you need is one person. You just have to convert each thing into another one.